Wonder Woman 1984 was directed by Patty Jenkins for a second time. This time it was also written by her. And also coming back in the role is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. Some newbies here, though, is Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord and Kristen Wiig as the Cheetah. And it's about Wonder Woman. And when there's a stone that comes out, an oil man who is coming out of money must take it and try to grant everyone's wishes. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman got Steve Trevor back because of the stone, and her new friend Barbara Minerva is becoming into a bad guy. Guys, this was one of the most hyped up movies of the year for tons of people. I did not like the first trailer, but when the second trailer dropped out, I was really getting excited for it. So I checked it out on HBO Max last night. Tell me what you guys thought of it down below, as well as you down there. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And thank you for clicking on this video. I'm really excited to talk about this one. Tomorrow, I hopefully will do my thing that I also did with Pixar Soul today, doing the top 5 highest grossing plus Wonder Woman 84 for my ranking after this. And then I will be doing a spoiler review of Soul and Wonder Woman 84 later this week. But with that said, yes, let's go into my non-spoiler review of Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Now, it is an 80s movie. It came out in 2020, but it is an extremely cheesy, extremely 80s movie. It's not like one of the best films that you'll ever see. It's not even close to being the best of this year. It's just cheese. But it's good cheese. It's entertainable cheese. It's not the cheese you get choked on and almost die on. It's a cheese that you can swallow down easy and get enjoyed by the taste of it. Let's kick things off with some positives. Gal Gadot and Chris Pine were great in this film. Gal Gadot, she has Wonder Woman. She is great as Wonder Woman. And with Chris Pine, they have great interactions together. There's some really funny moments in there with them. And Kristen Wiig, I also think, is great as a Cheetah. I like how she goes on. Sure, I kind of was predicting her path on the way she'd go. It's a lot like Aldrich Killian, Syndrome, Electro, all of them. I did enjoy it. And speaking of her, I didn't really feel like the Cheetah was shoehorned in like a bunch of people say. I kind of like the inclusion of her. I mean, I do like her a lot in this film. And she gets a good reason why. She's shy and she sees Wonder Woman doing that. And she wants to become more like her. And her wish comes true and she turns into the Cheetah. It works a lot for me. I really enjoyed her character, and she is played perfectly by Kristen Wiig. Also, Pedro Pascal's good in this film. I didn't really like his villain, though. I was not a fan of Maxwell Lord or his plan. As it comes into the third act and his plan is taking full notion, that's when it feels a bit crowded, and that's when I start not... That's one of my negatives. I do not like Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord. I do like Pedro Pascal. He plays him perfectly. I just didn't like his plan or what he was doing. I didn't like his character he was. Speaking after the cast, when action's here, it's pretty good. I was never bored like a lot of people were saying. I really did enjoy not having a bunch of action in. It's very story-based. It does feel like there is a lot of action, though, as I was never bored. Now, sure, I can completely understand why a lot of you are bored. I was just never bored. I feel like there is a great pacing with the action and the story. Now, there wasn't a lot of action, but it did feel like there was a lot of action. And some of the action scenes were good. From the trailers, you see the road chase in the desert. That is a very good action scene, my favorite of the bunch. And with there is a bunch of other action scenes. The scene where you get to meet the cheetah in the trailer, that scene is very good as well. There are just a bunch of good action scenes, a bunch of good scenes in there. The action, the cast is good. Yeah, and I do enjoy how cheesy this movie is. It's kind of paying an homage to every single 80s film. Some of the performances are bad. There's a bunch of minor characters are bad, like a bunch of 80s characters. And I really did... As much as it's annoying when a character is bad in the movie, it's kind of nice to see here as cheesy. Now, that is another negative as well. It's not as serious or as near as good as the original Wonder Woman is. Wonder Woman 1984 is super cheesy in a way that can play to its advantage. But I would much, much rather see a Wonder Woman film that's dark and kind of gritty, but having the same kind of thing like the first one did, than seeing this extremely cheesy film. Now, it is a bunch of fun cheese. It's just not great like I really, really hoped Wonder Woman 1984 would be. Speaking of it being cheesy in a bad way, I don't really feel like the way Chris Pine's character comes back is handled really well. It's not like Wonder Woman's freaking out being like, "How are you back alive?" She's like, "Oh, it's so glad to have you back. Yay." I will speak more about that in my spoiler-filled review. Like I said, I can't really go into specifics because it's a non-spoiler review, but I did enjoy the cast, and I did enjoy some of the action sequences. The story is nice as well. It's kind of like a MacGuffin movie. There's a stone that's granting people wishes. Almost spoiled it, but I can't. I'll say that in my spoiler review. But there's a stone that's granting people wishes. They have to get the stone, and it's made for nice things. And that's why it makes sense as Barbara Minerva goes into the cheetah, because there's a stone. So there's a lot of things that were good about this film as it moves along. Now, the third act is very convoluted. When it gets to, like, groundbreaking things, I'm like, no. Why is this happening? It brings on to the cheese that I was talking about earlier. It's very cheesy. There's some bad things, and that also brings on to Maxwell Lord's plan. I can't give specifics away, and I will in my spoiler review, but the plan is just stupid. I don't like the plan. I'm not a fan of the plan at all. Another thing is the cheesiness. I already said this, but the cheesiness in the plan, it's not as near as good as the original Wonder Woman like I was really hoping it would be. It's not bad either. Like, the cast, the action, the story, a lot of that is good. But it's just cheesy, and I really, really wish that this film was better. Maybe I'll like it on a second viewing now that I know what I was expecting, but Wonder Woman 84, in some ways, it was kind of disappointing. But in a lot of ways, it was just dribbled cheese. I can't really get into a lot of specifics right now because it's not a spoiler review. It'll be a spoiler review soon coming out this week, later this week. Very excited due to that. My score for this film will be a B, a 7 out of 10, and 2.5 stars. It's very cheesy, and in a lot of ways it's fun, but in a lot of ways it's not good. And may I say one more thing? The flying effects in this film are awful. They looked bad. A lot of the running scenes were bad. A lot of it was shot in a bad way, and the CGI was kind of bad. This is a very cheesy movie, and I respect it because it pays homage to the 80s. But it's not very cheesy in a great way, and like I said, it's kind of disappointing. I already gave my score, but make sure to go down below and tell me what did you think of Wonder Woman 1984. If you've seen it, hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss another video. Cannot wait to talk spoilers about this one and Soul very, very soon. And I will, of course, see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And thank you for clicking on this video. Peace out.